Welcome to another Garden Wise Adventures, and today we're at the Trimble's house. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm John Trimble.
And I'm Holly Trimble.
Yeah.
We are Foodscaping Utah is our nonprofit organization.
And I'm going to link some of their videos down below. They have some great videos, and I love their property. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
So we foodscape. So we help people put in foodscapes. Like our mission is to help people learn how to get started growing food. So we do that through using our own foodscape as an example. Through YouTube and things like that, we put educational material up. But then locally, we also have a volunteer group that's a nonprofit that'll help go to people's homes with volunteers, help install foodscapes in people's front yards.
Now, I didn't know that part. So you have your YouTube videos that I've seen. Tell me where to find the other information.
So our website is foodscapingutah.org.
Okay, I'll link that below.
Okay,
So, yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that's because this is absolutely gorgeous. Let's turn the camera around. So I've seen some of your front yard, but we're in your backyard right now, and I just want to kind of pan around and show them what you've done with your backyard because it's gorgeous. Okay, so here we are, and let's look what we have here. So tell me a little bit about what you have here.
So one of the ways we use our space efficiently is by growing vertically. So most of our vegetables we grow up trellises. So here in the backyard, they're not quite as pretty, but these are simple PVC trellises that we grow tomatoes and beans and peas and other things up. We had peas on this earlier in the summer, but now the sunflowers are coming in. And then, so this side is vegetables, and you can see there's artichoke, a couple artichoke over there. And then we intermix with a lot of flowers. We have yarrow and Russian sage and lavender. And then this is an asparagus bed that we put some nasturtium in, and here's strawberries. And then the back is kind of our backyard orchard. Over here we have pears, let's see, one pear and two apples kind of freestanding there, and then along the fence is a espalier. So we have pear, nectarine, Asian pear, peach, and an apple. And then we have a little row of stone fruit, plum, blueberry, and cherry that we're trying to manage really small.
Okay, now let's get into that really quickly because
Sure.
I actually learned from the Dave Wilson Nursery Group. You know, I went to their San Luis Obispo campus and learned in their orchard.
Yeah.
But where did you learn how to do this? 'Cause
So
this is my favorite thing.
It's mostly what you could call Dave Wilson technique for sure. And
Yeah.
our favorite resource for that is a book. Also, you probably heard of it, but it's "Grow a Little Fruit Tree" by Ann Ralph.
Okay.
And she worked with Dave Wilson Nursery and wrote a book. So that we have a video on how to prune in the summer to keep the trees short. Using the techniques that I'm sure you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll see if I can link that one too.
Yeah, I like our video, of course, but there's lots out there by Dave Wilson. But in our video, it's kind of neat because we show a 1-year-old tree and then a 2-year-old tree and then a 3-year-old tree, like all in the same video. So you can kind of see the progression on what it's going to look.
Because that's been an issue with because I've wanted to kind of do videos on this, but all my trees are mature, and there is that process that you go through for the first 3 years before you hit the maintenance.
And those are the really important ones. Like if you're going to keep it, if you're going to grow a small tree, you have to start young. Yeah.
Because look at these. Look at the size of these trees here.
Yeah, and that's their. Let's see.
What are they? Maybe 3-4 feet.
That's their third year. And I mean, we pruned these in June, into June, I'm sure, but is when we prune, and I mean, they were huge.
And they're getting huge again.
And they're growing back. There's always a new flush of growth every summer. But.
Now, I don't know if you found this in California. I had to prune, all 3 times, every year. Sometimes a little bit more to keep them short.
Yeah.
But here, my trees are older now, and I think the pruning technique has actually dwarfed them because of our shorter season. Because I don't have to prune as often. I prune once or twice a year.
Right.
And keep them at 6 feet.
If I see something growing kind of crazy, like I see this branch right here, I'm ready to prune now.
Yes.
But
I know you want to run over there and grab it.
Usually I have my pruners on while I'm out here. But we usually just prune once in the summer. So we do one big thorough pruning at the end of June.
Yeah, I love it.
And then we have a little greenhouse too, kind of just hot
Yeah, I noticed
greenhouse.
that.
So we start all our vegetables in there, and then we keep 2 little citrus trees in there in the winter too.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, so let's kind of go around and kind of see what else you have here.
Sure.
So this grass is kind of last man standing. Do you want to keep talking?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty much it for grass in our whole yard, and it's not in that good of shape.
When we moved in 6 years ago, everything was grass. So each
Yeah, your
year
normal
we've taken out a
suburban.
chunk and foodscaped it basically. So, but this grass we like because we can play on it and there's a little bit of shade here.
Yeah, there is definitely room for grass.
Yeah.
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 It's just, like you said, you don't have to do the whole yard in grass.
Right. And to us, I mean, a lot of people are surprised when we're talking about growing so much food in the front yard. But to us, we wouldn't use that grass in the front.
No, it's more for looks, and
Yeah.
it's actually more maintenance. People think it's less maintenance, but to me it's more maintenance.
Yeah.
If you do your foodscape properly like you have.
Right.
Let's get
so
over here and look at
this
this.
is grapevines, and I don't know if you want to come in here. You can see the grapes hanging.
Oh, let's go see. Yeah.
The light will be different. But
Yeah,
The light will
it's
definitely
pretty
be different.
sharp in
Yeah,
here,
I think-
but we have,
Oh my word, look at all of this.
It makes some great shade.
So what varieties do you have in here? You've got some green and red.
Yep.
on the far side there is Himrod.
That's
The
my
green one?
favorite. I
So
have
that's
that.
the green, and then this side is Red Reliance. So you can see them; they're ripe here.
Yeah, and they're right up here
Right up
too.
above you.
Yeah,
They're really pretty. Look at the color on that.
yeah, we like them for the color.
So you could come in here with your little table and just snack.
Exactly. I did that just yesterday.
And eat grapes while you're sitting. Right?
Yes, I love
Yeah,
it.
snack
We
on
try to
it.
incorporate things like arbors in to make it look really nice, have kind of a feature, but it's also really productive. Like grapes love being on an arbor. They get tons of sunlight.
Yeah.
They're well suited for arbors. So
And it's easier to keep them under control, I think.
yeah, for sure.
And then look at here, stand next to your corn. So what would you say?
I think it's about 9 feet.
9 feet tall?
Maybe 10,
yeah, maybe 10 to the top.
Yeah.
And look at those ears developing.
Yeah.
So this, how big a spot is this?
I think it's, let's see, 12 feet long, 4 feet wide, 4.5 maybe wide.
And look at the amount of, the produce you're getting out of there.
Yeah. They're packed
That
in
is
there
high
pretty-
production.
They're packed in there pretty good. It's a little closer spacing than you would normally do with corn, but it's in a raised bed. The soil is really nutrient dense with compost, and then it's on
Yeah.
drip irrigation. And it's it kind of raised up to get the sun in the spot, I think. And,
Now talk a little bit about, the soil that you put in there.
our favorite go-to mix for soil and raised beds is a 50-50 mix of topsoil and compost.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and we use green waste compost. We're lucky to Ogden City has a green waste facility that does a really nice job with compost. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of have to check your compost, but ours is really good, and we also incorporate more organic matter. Over the years we had brown leaves and coffee grounds and food scraps. We kind of mix in the fall and then cover with compost. So
I don't know. Would you say it's working?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is popcorn variety. Actually.
Oh, this is?
Yeah. So
Oh,
we
how
haven't. This
fun.
is our first time growing popcorn, so we're really excited. We tried some. We got it at farmers market.
Yep.
Yeah. And we thought that would be fun to grow, and maybe you wouldn't have to eat all of it at the same time.
Oh,
you
no,
could
yeah.
spread it out
Yeah,
and save it.
Yeah. Now, for watering, I know corn takes a lot of water, and your corn is obviously, it's not shriveled up like some that I've seen.
Yeah.
How often do you water this?
It's on a drip irrigation every day. I think in the raised bed too. I mean, raised beds have tons of advantages, but one of the disadvantages is the drainage is so good that it runs out faster than it would in soil. But you make up for that, I think, in production usually.
Oh, heavens, yeah. Look at that. Okay, let's move on. That is I love that. And that is there's their front yard. So this is their side yard, street side, so you can see that from the street.
That's right.
And when I drove up, it's actually beautiful.
It is,
well,
right?
Yeah.
different.
Well, and it's so tall, like if it was right in front, maybe it'd be like you couldn't see the rest, but it's like a backdrop
Yeah, it
when you
is.
pull in for the
I love it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about this area.
So this is our newest project this year. So we call it Phase 2. But This we decided instead of to do framed vegetable beds, these are just like mounded up raised beds.
Okay.
So we kind of dug around the edges, filled in with gravel. So this is pea gravel, and then
Right.
we have wood chip mulch as the path on the inside, and then build those beds there, and then built this mounded up a little. And these are hazelnuts.
Oh, they're hazelnuts. Okay.
Yeah. So they're first year, so they're going to get bigger.
Right.
They're going to
Yeah.
get a lot bigger.
Now, how big are you planning on letting those get? Because I know you can control the hazelnut size
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, my kind of standard is like the Dave Wilson, where it's like if I can reach it, that's where I'm going to prune it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that ends up being 7.5 feet or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's kind of the plan for these, and then so it's vegetables around the side, and we always mix a lot of flowers in. So there's zinnias.
Now talk about that too, because that's what I do. But why? What's your purpose for mixing the flowers?
Well, beauty is one for sure.
Right.
It brings a lot of beauty, but to complement the food growing crops, it's about attracting beneficial insects. Yeah, so a lot of pollinators, but then you also get the predators that'll come in.
Right.
So predatory wasps.
Those are a big one.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a number of lacewings and ladybugs, of course, is everybody's favorite. But if you provide pollen for them over an extended period of time, you have much more a higher population of beneficial insects. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we do that with annuals, but then also with perennials.
Yeah, and I love it, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
In the back is our Belgian fence of apples.
And I absolutely love that.
And it needs a pruning, but it's still looking pretty good. But you can kind of see the bamboo in there is the framework that I'm training it to. And we got a video on how to do that too.
I saw that, and what I was just really shocked about and just was so interested in is that you grafted each of these.
Yeah, that's right.
You grafted them to their rootstock, and you created these. And then when you get your first apple, I mean, that to me is like heaven.
So we meant to pull it off, but we came back a few weeks later, and it was hiding behind leaves. So there's one apple growing on there.
Let's go look at it.
Yeah, okay.
See, so this is like true. You made these apples. You did this.
Yeah.
So when
that's
you
our little
eat
baby.
them, they're just even sweeter.
Yeah, that's right. So it's.
So what
already-
variety is
it's
this?
I can't remember. I have to look at my tag. Let's see. On this end, it might be Northern Spy. I'm just guessing.
So have you found that these bags have helped a lot?
They're awesome. Yeah, we did an experiment last year actually, where we compared bagging. These are organza bags. And then which are pretty cheap and readily available, but there's also apple bags. I don't know if you've seen those, like Japanese apple bags, sometimes they're called, but we found those really hard to put on. But an organza bag is super easy because it has this drawstring.
Yeah, I've seen several YouTubers use those to protect their fruit.
Yeah, we have a video on it too.
So we'll have to find that one.
You know,
we're going to be
what did we
linking a
have?
lot of videos. Maybe I'll just link your site.
Yeah, there you go.
But they're easy to put on and they're reusable. So we've used the same ones from year to year.
So they don't degrade in the sun then?
They
I was
haven't
worried
so
about
far.
that.
We've had
It's like the third year. we've used them.
So I guess we can't speak longer than 3 years. But
3 years
3
is.
years is pretty
I mean,
good.
that
Pretty
I
good.
touched that and it felt new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, they're in
well,
really good shape. And we had to buy
we
new
had to
because
buy-
we have
yeah,
more and more apples
trees,
every
so
year.
that's
because
true,
they're
yeah.
good trees.
but we've had 3 years out of something.
But out of last year in our study that we did, I think one that had a bag on it had a codling moth larva in it, the
Yeah.
apple worm, and then
And that was out of like 80 some.
that was out of 80.
Oh, that's
apples.
amazing.
And then we didn't have a lot of population anyway, but like I think 30 to 40% of the ones without bags, something like that. Check the video for the number.
We're
I
going to
can't-
link all these
Yeah,
videos.
it's
We'll
been a
just
while.
we'll link your YouTube site.
Yeah,
And,
sounds
yeah.
good. Sounds good.
The unbagged ones had a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is this gorgeous plant right up here, right up front?
This is Amaranth, so it's a grain,
Uh-huh.
and it's probably about to be done. But
That's the first thing I noticed when I drove up.
yeah, it's really, really pretty. It's really ornamental. The grain is a little bit of a pain to harvest.
I was wondering how you do that.
Yeah, and the bugs really like it too. But
Yeah.
it's you basically just kind of shuck it like a grain. So
Yeah.
you eat the seed.
It
But it's
dries
really
out a
pretty.
little, right?
Right,
Like-
it dries out, starts to get a little
Does
lighter
it-
color like this.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask if it keeps the color.
It's
No.
So the seed is like a whitish
It's a white seed.
color, but it's
But that it's like
really
a
pretty.
it's like a tree. It's like a
So
I don't know.
it's a
And it
funny
grows
story
pretty
about
fast.
that. Somebody walked by, and we're out here working, so people always ask us questions as
Yeah.
they're going by, and said, "What tree is that you're growing?" And it
And
was
it's just an
amaranth. This was
amaranth.
last year, actually. But yeah, we
Now,
had,
it looks like is there two of them in there
There's
or
two of
three?
them, yeah.
Two of them. Yeah.
and then kind of zinnia. They're like draping over the
Over the
zinnia
zinnia.
now.
I know that's
Yeah.
see. This is okay. So this is the other question.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pan around and
Sure.
maybe I
and
can
walk.
show from the street. I'll have you guys stay here, but I just wanted to kind of see what this looks like from the street. So let's go this way. Okay, so let's say you're walking along. We say, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" You know? And then you look at this property, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. This is all in your front yard where everybody can see it.
Right.
And there's a lot of cities that have like regulations against growing food in your front yard
Right.
because they feel it's an eyesore or maybe a hazard. I don't know what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been your experience growing food in the front yard? Maybe we can
100% positive. We have had one of the biggest things that's happened since we started growing food in our front yard is our neighbors stop by and chat. We've gotten to know our
I
neighbors
love that.
so much better because we're out here and it's interesting. So it's
Yeah.
different. It's something to talk about. People haven't seen amaranth, or they just wonder, oh, what are you growing? And people that we've gotten to know are like, oh, what's new today? Things like that. So we haven't had anybody complain about it. We've had a lot of people give us a lot of compliments about it, and people that just stop by to chat. So we've had a great experience.
Well, perfect. Have you had your food stolen? That'd be
No.
my
We've
big
had
worry.
No food stolen that we know of.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So not enough
Maybe
to
a
miss it.
squirrel took a
Yeah,
cherry
our
tomato
mail
one time.
carrier saw a squirrel take a tomato one time.
Yeah, that's right.
But other
Little
than
thief.
that, I don't think we've had anybody take anything. And we always have an abundance. So
Let's go through and see some of this
It'll be
abundance because
fun.
it is really abundant.
Yeah, really,
I almost can't keep track of what you have in here. You have grapes like
yeah,
right
so
here,
there's grapes here too.
underplanted.
And they're the grapevine kind of starts outside the bed here and goes
Yeah,
across.
you can see if you want to see the tree.
Yeah.
in there.
It's only its second year, so it's going to be.
Oh, this is amazing.
And then this is a squash that's actually planted over here.
Two
That's kind
squashes.
of running.
Well, it makes it gorgeous. It makes it look like you just have this full ground cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's two squashes in there.
Yeah, and this is another good example of what I was talking about with the vertical. So
Right.
I mean, so these are squash and then grapes up, and then you still have, and another advantage of growing food in the front yard is the sunlight. I mean, it depends on the neighborhood, but older neighborhoods often have more mature shade trees in the backyard. So people want to put their vegetable gardens there and they don't have as much sun. But on our property, there isn't
This is
an
full
ounce
sun.
of
Yeah.
shade. So actually, you can have this vertical here and it's still really full sun on either side of it, right?
So you're going to get maximum production.
Yeah, no, we were actually pretty shocked when we moved from just in the backyard to the front, like twice as much production. I mean, part of that is the raised beds and the soils, and
Right.
the drip irrigation, but the more sun, I think the more fruit you get in a lot of ways.
And what have you packed in here? Because I'm just like not able to even kind of keep track of what's in here.
Yeah, and it's getting a little overgrown. So this is borage flower,
Yeah, I love
annual, and then here's marigold, and then this is ground cherry, which this is our first time trying ground cherry. Have you ever tried those?
that. I actually went and interviewed Neil Hinckley with his kind of all his rare
cool,
fruits.
Yeah, I've seen him.
And he gave me a taste of one, and they taste so good. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
you
grow
want
them.
this one?
Thank you. What variety is this?
It has pineapple in the name. Do you remember?
This is the one that he had, and I love it.
Yeah, it's
like a
you pick
pineapple
them when they're
slushie
ripe. Like
almost.
it's our first year, so we didn't know too much, and we picked some before they're ripe. But they get sweet and kind of have a pineapple flavor.
Yeah, it's like a
eventually,
pineapple slushy, like pineapple banana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're absolutely gorgeous too. I mean, it looks like a great ground cover.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a nice plant. There's one over there too that's kind of
On the
sprawling out on.
Oh,
the
right
left.
over there.
right, yeah, on
Yeah.
the edge.
And some beans have kind of grown into it, and then you have Swiss chard back there,
Yep.
and then here's a couple pepper plants.
there's strawberries
Hiding.
in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I saw the strawberries, but then I saw the ground cherries. I'm like, oh, I'm getting lost.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Well, and they're all productive, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, this is a day neutral variety of strawberries. So, you know, in the summer they sometimes take a break, but we still sometimes find
Yeah.
a few ripe ones out here. And then last year we grew, yeah, there's a strawberry. You got one. Last year we grew squash up and over this, but to do a little rotation this year we're going to do tomatoes on it. So
Yeah.
there's 4 tomatoes, like 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and we're kind of training them up and over the top.
Yeah, and there's the little sun gold that I just
Yeah.
one of my favorite tomatoes ever.
They're so sweet.
Maybe people just don't know what they're passing by, because I would think that would be stripped by me.
Right.
I wouldn't be that mean.
I mean, that's
sorry.
part of it. Like if people aren't used to seeing food, you know, so
Yeah,
like
they don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So if they were to come try it, that would be great.
Yeah, what do you have in here?
In here, this is our like extreme Dave Wilson small fruit tree experiment.
These-
are pluots.
Yeah, I was going to show you next to them. They
Yeah.
can't be more than 6 feet tall.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and it's gonna be.
Let's
work
walk around
to
this
keep
bed.
them in this small.
Because
with
this
the
bed
chamomile
is
on it.
tiny.
Yeah, and there's 2 in there. So.
So how big is this?
Let's see. The bed is 6 by 4. Yeah, 6 by 4.
Yeah.
So 6 feet wide, and they're only 2 feet apart. So, you know, Dave Wilson, they do 18 inches apart sometimes, and I thought, you know,
If you
we're
can do
gonna- we're
18,
gonna
you can do
see-
2.
yeah, and I thought, you know, we're gonna just, of course, with 4 feet or 5 feet, you'd have a lot more room, but
It's all in how you prune them.
yeah, it is.
You
right?
can prune them at any distance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, it really, I really like doing it. You know, I know people would be worried about the work to come out and prune them and but
Well, if you
it's
keep them
something I
this
enjoy,
small,
you
there's
know.
not, and if you keep on top of it,
Yeah.
it really doesn't take that long.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. Over here, then, if you want to keep moving around, these are 2 new crops for us this year too. Every year we like to experiment with something new.
Yeah.
So these are peanuts.
They look like almost like alfalfa a little bit.
Yeah.
No
I
way.
think they're in the same family. It's peanuts,
And I'm
and
seeing
then these
little
are
flowers. I've
these are
never
sweet
seen
potatoes.
peanuts.
So
I'm gonna
we'll see if they make it, but it's really pretty cool. See if you can get right there. So this, let's see, what it does is makes a flower. You see this is a peg, it's called. The shadow's kind of right on it, but it makes a flower, and then it sends like a pod down into the ground.
So it's not like, because I thought peanuts were like nodules on the roots.
They flower first, and then that turns into a root nodule. So it comes up to flower, and that pod then burrows itself underground.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Yeah, so those pegs are them going back down in, and you know, like I said, we're not. This is our first year, so we
So
don't.
do you
really
know how long
exactly.
it's supposed to take to mature?
We're going to need the whole growing season, so.
And hopefully
I
it lasts a
think
little
they're-
bit longer.
Yeah, I think they're 120 days or so.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
so it's cutting it
110.
close, depending on the
I
year.
think 100 to 100. This variety is supposed to be one that can do it. I think might have been 105, but and then it's sweet potato behind it. So it's
Oh, so
just
this
kind
is sweet potato.
of-
Okay.
yeah, and it's vining and going everywhere. So it's been growing well too.
And then that one, kind of taller one in the end is okra.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, how fun. So you're trying a lot of interesting things, and then the squash, the Curlicue squash.
That one's Trimble squash.
I have heard those are amazing.
They're really
They're
good.
really good.
It's a summer squash, but it's like a mild kind of buttery flavored squash, like similar to a zucchini, but we like it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
So
good.
they grow well here. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Perfect.
the plant is super vigorous.
Yeah.
And then this one, on this side of the trellis is a baby butternut. So
Yeah.
it's-
We got to look at these. It's like a clothesline with they've hung out their squash to dry. I love it.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I thought, it's going to easily cover this trellis. And I was
Oh,
like, well,
easily,
how can I
yeah.
get some more room? So added some more wires.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you do that vertical or growing, like you said, you can put a lot more in.
Really, and get a lot more production in the space.
Okay, look at the Swiss chard. They're huge, with more ground cherry and more peanuts.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times when I design it, this bed kind of mirrors the other one. So you've got
Well, that's the design concepts that make it beautiful. I mean, if it was just a mishmash thrown together.
Right, random, yeah. No, I
Yeah.
enjoy that part too, kind of deciding or planning it out. And then this
Yeah.
is nectarine.
Yeah, and look how big those are getting.
Yeah.
It's not too much longer.
No, they're starting to color up, but
Yeah, probably, what do you say, 3-4 weeks?
yeah. We have the one we saw really quick in the back, the fan-trained espalier
Yeah.
nectarine. That one's ripe now, actually.
Oh, wow.
So it's
See,
an
and that's the
earlier
other
variety.
thing about Dave Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, if you have more fruit trees in a smaller space, you can actually get different ones that ripen different times a year.
Exactly. There's
Extend
a
your
peach back
harvest.
there too, and they're staggered. Yeah. So the nectarine, like I said, is the earliest one,
Right.
and then the peach, and then this one's the last one to come on.
Yeah, I love it.
This one's in that video that we showed. How
Yeah,
to kind
I saw that one
of- yeah. And here's another pair.
with all the organza bags. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yep.
People ask about those a lot
Sure.
when they're walking by.
What is that?
Yeah. and people always
Very
ask,
special pears.
oh really? You put bags on? And honestly, you know, I mean, if you didn't do anything, it wouldn't spend you a lot of time. But if you want to make sure there aren't any worms in there, there's a lot of sprays involved.
Yes, there is.
You know, and you have to time it. You have to watch. You have to come out and spray every, you know, if it's conventional every 2 weeks or if it's organic every week. But here we put the bags on once in June,
And then you don't have to worry
you don't
about
have
it.
to worry about spraying at all.
Yeah. And then look at these. Now, did I see? Yeah, I think we saw these on the video too, right?
Right. Yeah. This one is the one that we kind of showed as a, and we actually just put another wire on since we made the video. So I thought,
Okay.
well, we'll go ahead and do in the 4th row. But yeah, here it's a European pear, an Asian pear, and an apple.
Yeah, that makes a really beautiful fence.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice once it fills in. These are, let's see, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
And then your perennial, or your perennials, flowers in between are like herbs.
These ones are, yeah,
Yeah.
rosemary, right?
Yeah.
Rosemary.
So you get the two uses out of it, production and beauty.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this
Perfect, right?
is absolutely amazing. I love what you've done. So once again, it's Foodscaping Utah, right? And you have a website and a YouTube channel.
Right.
Anything else?
Instagram.
We have Instagram,
Instagram.
and a Facebook account. So if you're in Ogden and looking to volunteer for one of our scape days, they're a really great learning experience too, because we do a little mini class afterwards. We try to pick a topic related to what we've done that day. And we put all of those events on our Instagram page and on our Facebook page.
Perfect. Well, everybody go follow the Trimbles. That's how you say your last name,
Yes.
right?
Trimbles. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
find us
Foodscape
at-
Utah.
At
Foodscaping Utah, yep.
Yeah, Foodscaping
Yep.
Utah.
And it looks like you guys have merch.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, I love
yeah,
it.
you can get a T-shirt
Yep.
if you want. Yeah.
Yep.
Grow your own.
I love it. Well, I think this pretty much ties everything together. I wanted to talk about edible landscaping. You could do just a few like me. You could do more landscape look like Lindy. You could go the full permaculture, like the Krishna forest, which, in a front yard is a little difficult. That's more of a backyard thing to me.
Right.
Or you can do the foodscaping, which is just encompasses the whole thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we like to design it so that we're getting as much production as we can in a small space, but still make it look good. So that's
And you
what
can do that. It's
Foodscaping is.
possible. And
It's
that's what I
possible, yeah.
loved about your videos is when I saw that, I'm like, yay, they did it. They married everything you need.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a challenge for everybody. Try one thing edible in your front yard. Just go and try it. If they were going to try one thing, what would you think they should try?
Good question.
Your favorite thing to eat?
Whatever your favorite,
Your favorite
is
thing to eat. I
That's
love
right.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe some lettuce, Swiss chard. That is really easy.
Mhm.
And then once you get started, I promise you, you're not going to be able to stop.
Yeah.
And you can make it beautiful too. And so go ahead this week and have a wonderful garden adventure and plant some food in your